And tequila does make everybody crazy. I mean, you can have your bourbon, you can have that tequila. There's something to tequila. There's something to that stuff. When you drink that stuff, you're on your own. And that gets hardly any reaction. Okay, just forget it then. I was going to try to get some kind of reaction out of some of y'all. But
I had to lay off
Tide Pods. The Tide Pods have done this work. What'd you say, Miss Croxton?
I said I had to lay off the tequila.
I tell you, that tequila, it will mess you up. You'll end up, and you won't even know what state you're in. Especially if they're giving it to you for free. That Louis comes over there. Hey, come on, medicina. Gives me that stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And oh my gosh, if you freeze it and you have the orange tequila, have you ever had the orange tequila that tastes like orange?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, and put it in a freezer.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous.
Okay, I've got some questions to ask y'all. We've got a new attendance, and I didn't know that I was supposed to put a minus in for your attendance. I just need to make this complete. I've got a few of y'all missing the first day of class, and I just need to go through. It's not, just tell me the truth. I'm not going to drop anybody. I just need to make this complete so they'll quit sending me freaking emails. Miss Croxton, did you attend the first day of class?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. So that's why I got an open circle there. The open circle means that, hold on a minute. Now I got to go to just give me a second and I'll fix this. There we go. Okay. Croxton, she gets a minus symbol. And Miss Reynolds, did you attend the first day?
No, I wasn't in your class on the first day.
Well, see, I don't know what to put. I'm just not going to put anything because you wasn't in the class. So the attendance tracker should know that. Wood, was you here the first day?
No, it was not.
Okay. So I just needed to put minus symbols. I didn't know that the attendance tracker had minus symbols in it. That's why I'm doing this. So give me one more second. I'm going to go to the second day of class and fix this. Second day of class, everybody was here. So I don't need to worry about that one. And I'm going to go ahead, since everybody's here, I'm going to go ahead and do today's class because I think everybody's here. Let's see, how many we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We got 14 in the class. Good job. Y'all are winners. Okay, and that's done. So we don't have to take, okay, I've got that done. I've got to do that in all my classes because the first 2 days, I didn't know that we had to put a minus symbol in for an absence. I just thought you leave it blank, and they said you have to put a minus symbol in. And I get these emails every day. Okay, I'll shut up. Let me turn on my. I looked over your homework, and y'all have done the review. You haven't sent any questions, unless I'm missing them. Did anybody send any questions? Because I didn't see any. So I'm going to assume that nobody has any questions on the review. So that means that I'm going to actually start the trig today. And so I'm going to go to the handy dandy ebook, and I'm just going to look and pull up your ebook and go to, somebody tell me what chapter we're starting. Is it chapter 9, isn't it? 9?
Yes.
Okay. That was not tequila. That was Diet Mountain Dew. I'll tell you, if you drink a tequila in the morning, You were hardcore alky.
No, I'm sober now.
No, I'm talking about just if anybody does. That tequila, I can't. Even in the Marine Corps, I couldn't drink early in the morning. And there was some guys, oh my gosh, they would just like throw up 2 or 3 shots in the morning. I'm like, those guys are hardcore. All right. There we go. Can y'all see my 9.1? I just need 1 or 2 people to nod. Okay. All right. Now, I don't know how much y'all have had as regards to Trig, and I'm not going to ask because I don't want anybody to be embarrassed or anything, but I'm on page, for those that are wondering, I'm on page 612, and I'm just going to go through a little bit of the background of Trig and my background, because I want you to know sometimes that I make mistakes. But it's not because of the math, and I'll tell you why. I grew up, my father was an engineer and a surveyor. And some of you, is anybody familiar with surveyors, land surveyors, anybody? Usually not, because it's a profession that not a lot of people get into. The only reason I'm not doing it today is I can't deal with people. My father always said there's 2 kinds of people. There's pleasant people and yuck people. Yuck, Y-U-C-K. And I have a tendency to run into the yuck people, and I don't like yuck people. So I kind of just, that's why I'm not doing it today. But as a land surveyor, can somebody tell me what a land surveyor does?
Surveys the land.
Basically uses trigonometry, geometry to survey property. And it's based on Trig. Land surveying is based on Trig. Now I'm telling you this for a reason. There's 2 things in Trig that is opposite of the real world. 2 or 3 things. Number 1, you never turn a transit. The transit is the thing that looks like a camera, that sits on a tripod you see on the side of the road. You never turn left-handed turns. You never. You always turn right-handed. Trig, they turn left. In the real world, you turn right. So that's one place that even after teaching this many years, I have to really watch it, because I've been involved with land surveying about 70 to 80% of my life since I was 8 years old. Okay. Another thing, in Trig, you deal with decimal degrees. You don't do that in the real world. In the real world, you deal with 25 degrees, 27 minutes, 33 seconds. Okay. Another thing, in Trig, your quadrants are 1, 2, 3, and 4. In the real world, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and northwest is 4. Does everybody see what I'm talking about? That in academia, you've got one way to do things, and in the real world, there's another way to do things. In academia, we talk about radians. In the real world, if somebody walks up to you at a construction site and talks to you in radians, that construction manager is going to look at you like you're from Mars. Okay? In the real world, we deal with degrees. So I'm just telling you this because sometimes you're going to hear me say, well, that's quadrant 4, and it's going to be the opposite. And sometimes I make those subliminal mistakes because I grew up in this side and I'm teaching from this side. Does everybody understand that? I hope everybody understands it. Okay, nobody's going to say anything, but I appreciate it. It's always nice to have people communicate. That's why classes go better and relationships go better because of communication, you know. All right. We're talking about a circle. The whole thing about trig is revolving around a circle. And you got a center, you got a radius R, and the radius R, and when this is the same, that's called a radian. And I'm not going to get into radians right now. We'll get into that in just a minute. But when you're talking about the measure of a circle, when you're talking about squares, you know that each is a 90 degree. And you know that all equal what? 360 degrees. You know a triangle has 3 angles and it's equal to what? 180 degrees. Everybody with me? So you know this stuff about rectangles or quadrilaterals, and you know what about triangles, but what about the circle? And that's where trig comes in. Now, if you want to measure a circle, you measure a circle in degrees, minutes, and seconds. Now, you used to not do it in minutes and seconds because they didn't have nothing but a compass back in the early days of trying to figure out trig and land surveying. They had a compass, and the compass would only go to the nearest degree. And then later on, I've got a transit that my father bought when he was right out of Clemson, and it turns to the nearest minute. And then I've got a theodolite, which is electronic, and it goes to the nearest 3 seconds, 5 seconds. And now they got them now where they intertwined with GPS, and they're down to the nearest second, almost to the zero. I mean, they got it really, but you got to spend $75,000 for that GPS system. Not like the GPS you get on your phone, which is about 16 feet off or 8 feet off. Okay, so degrees, minutes, and seconds. There's 360 degrees in 1 revolution. There's 60 minutes in 1 degree. And there's 60 seconds in 1 minute. Degree is the little symbol that looks like a circle. Minutes is usually 1 mark, like the foot mark. And seconds is like the inch mark. Now I'm going to pick on Mr. Nicholson because he's tough and he can handle it. Mr. Nicholson, how much exposure have you had to trig?
Little to none.
Little to none. That's who I'm teaching to. All right. Some of y'all invented trigonometry, you think. All right. But Mr. Williams, I'm going to ask you, how much trig have you had?
I've only had it in my high school class.
Did you have it as trig or did you have it as pre-cal?
It probably was pre-cal, all things considered.
Okay, let's just go around the room. We got a small class. Mr. Shirley, that's my kinfolk. How much trig have you had?
Just a little in pre-cal.
Okay, so far we've got 1 never and 2 pre-cal. All right, Mr. Bradley.
I've taken none.
None?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Baker.
A little in pre-cal.
Miss Reynolds.
A little in pre-cal.
Mr. Ramey. Come on, toggle it off. I think you're toggling it too quick.
Hold on, that was being weird. Just a little in pre-cal.
Just a little in pre-cal. And we need to take up a collection for Mr. Ramey so he can get a room. We're gonna have to get him a room so he don't have to stand beside the fire extinguisher for class. Can't find a room. Where are you at, Mr. Ramey? Pendleton campus, Anderson campus?
I'm sitting in the Pickens County Career Center.
They don't have a room you can go into, or you just wanted to sit there?
They do, but other people were using that room today.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Miss Davis, how much trig have you had?
9.
Miss Ramirez, or sorry, Hernandez, excuse me.
Pre-cal.
You had pre-cal. Mr. Pappas, how much have you had? Okay, I didn't hear anything. I think your mic's not working. Just give me a 0 or a 1. Okay, very little. I'm gonna put you in this group. Mr. Christie.
I took trigonometry and analysis of functions, and then I took pre-calc in high school.
Okay, so you've had some.
Yes,
Mr.
I'm from
Thornton.
Florida.
Yeah, I took a trigonometry course in 10th grade.
Okay. Oh, how long has that been? 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
Yeah, 4 years now.
Okay. Miss Croxton.
I had half a semester of Trig last fall, essentially, because I ended up not being able to complete it.
Okay. So you've had some.
Yeah.
Okay, so 9 students have had it, 4 students have not. So we're talking about a third of the class has never seen it before. So I don't want to hear anybody whining because I'm starting from the beginning, okay? Because I don't feel like, you know, I'm one of these people, if you knew the material, you wouldn't be in the class. And I used to say that when I used to have a smart aleck teacher, and I'd say, look, if I knew the material, I wouldn't be in the class. I'm going to ask you these questions because I don't know the material. But anyway, this is the basics. And there's 360 degrees in one revolution. And within each of those degrees, you got 60 minutes, and each of those minutes, you got 60 seconds. So I can write an angle, and let me show you how these angles work. Let's say that here's your house. There's your house. And you got a driveway. And let's say you've got a garage or a carport right there. And let's say that you want to build a guest house or a guest room right over here, but you have no idea where to put it because your property line is right there. Okay? So you set up, you call the surveyor, and the surveyor sets up a transit on this corner right here, and he back sights, and he locates with a angle there, and an angle there, and an angle there, and an angle there for your driveway, and then he shoots an angle over here in the distance to that corner right there, and this corner right here, so he knows where that property line is. And then he draws a little sketch, and then he comes back and he says, okay, you want a 25 by 25 building. So he puts 4 stakes by shooting another angle and another distance. And he puts 4 stakes right there. And he says, that's where your building needs to go. That's what these are called, horizontal angles. Horizontal angles are used in engineering. Anything to do with DOT and the highways, that's horizontal. Horizontal angles is when you're turning like you turn your neck. That's horizontal angles. Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if I turn an angle, if I use this as a baseline, and I turn an angle like about right here, that's about 270 degrees, and so on. So that's where these minutes, these angles, the degrees, minutes, and seconds come into play. What I don't want you to think, this is what I don't want you to think. I don't want you to think that trig is based on this guy right here. Y'all remember this guy? Y'all remember that guy?
Yep.
I don't want you to think that you go out in the real world and you have to use one of these. No, this is for you to use in the classroom. This graduates to a transit or a theodolite that looks like that with a scope on it. You know, I'm not an artist. That's what this graduates to that. All right, so I want you to get out of the thinking of this. That's in the classroom. They use that in the classroom. All right, and the other angle is where you're sitting at the bottom of a hill and you've got your transit, and this is 90 degrees right here. That's sea level, and you're shooting up here, and this angle up here, this is called a vertical angle. Where would you think vertical angles are used? In the mountains. Why? Because highways go through the mountains, and you got to go over the mountain, and that's a vertical angle. Vertical angle is your neck going up and down. Okay, so the 2 angles that we're going to be talking about are horizontal angles, which makes up about 80% of whatever you're doing with trigonometry, and vertical angles, which is called zeniths, which is basically about 20%. So when you're talking about degrees, minutes, and seconds, you're talking about graduating from the thing you used back in high school to this thing right here, and you got to think in terms of engineering and land surveying, architecture, construction management, any of those things like that. Which, if you are in Math 111, let me go through the list. I'm going to ask you, what do you want to go into if everything works out and you do, you know, you learn how to do trig and calculus? What would you like to do? Because I bet a lot of you are going toward engineering. Mr. Shirley, what do you want to go into?
Electrical engineering.
Mr. Williams.
I'm going into IT.
Okay, so you're going into computer engineering. Mr. Bradley.
Some sort of engineering.
I'm sorry, what kind?
I don't know what kind yet, but
Just engineering.
yeah.
Mr. Baker.
Architecture.
Architecture. See, now you need to be interested in this stuff. Nicholson.
I'm in the general engineering technology program.
General engineering technology. So you're going to be studying mostly mechanical engineering, mechanical stuff. Ms. Reynolds.
I'm going to medical school.
Okay, so she's using the calculus route to go to medical school. Raimi,
I'm going for vet science.
going for what?
Vet.
Okay, veterinarian. Okay, and that's like Miss Reynolds. Just one's for humans, one's for animals. Which we're getting more and more. There ain't no difference between the two, so I'm not going to say anything there. Although I love my cats, but you know, I'm not loony birds like some of these people. But anyway, Miss Davis,
I'm also going to medical school.
medical school. Christy,
Computer science.
medical school.
Computer science.
Computer science. You need to fix that microphone. I think it's got, I don't know, you might have been rubbing up against it. Croxton, what do you want to go into?
I actually want to start my own therapeutic equestrian center. So I'll be using a combination of psych and equestrian studies.
You're going to be talking about, you're going to be psychology, veterinary, and medical.
Yeah.
Mr. Thornton.
Architecture.
Architecture. Another one. Mr. Pappas. Not working. Just give me engineering, shake your head, yes or no. Okay. Medical school. Okay, well, it must be something else. You can type it in if you want to. Ms. Hernandez.
Computer engineering.
Okay. Now, we've got about 3 or 4 people that's going into architecture or some kind of engineering, or maybe 5. Okay. Will you need to know this for mechanical engineering? Oh, yeah. Mechanical engineering, you turn as many angles with you don't use the tripod, you use a micrometer to measure, and you also can use the a certain version of the micrometer to measure angles also. It's called a drafting arm or something like that mechanism. So while I'm pulling those 5 or 6 out, I'm not neglecting the medical field, because the medical field, what does the hip, the elbow, the wrist, and the ankle do? And the shoulder. What do they all
Rotate.
do? They turn. Okay? Let me ask you a question.
Rotate.
Take your foot right now and point your toes up toward the ceiling. That's a vertical angle. Take your foot and twist it to the right or to the left. That's a horizontal angle. The only difference is in the body, you're limited to 90 degrees because unless you're Linda Blair from The Exorcist, most of the time you can only turn 90 degrees. If you turn 360, I'm leaving, okay? Because that's your dang old Annabelle, and I don't know. That's Annabelle. I love Annabelle movies, but somebody turns 360 degrees with their neck, I'm leaving. All right. So, with that being said, one of the first things that you should be able to do is add or subtract angles. Now, this is about the easiest thing in Trig that you can do. And you're probably talking about 2 test questions on this first test with adding or subtracting angles. So let's do 2 right quick. Let's do an adding, 24 degrees, 30 minutes, 22 seconds, plus 32 degrees, 40 minutes, and 52 seconds. All right, now I don't want you to use a calculator because this is simple math. This is like 3rd, 4th grade math with just different symbols. I want you to add those up, and I want you to give me a final answer. So go ahead and do that. I'll give you about 30 seconds. And somebody typed something in. Was that Mr. Pappas? Yeah. Biology. You will use degrees, minutes, and seconds and rotations. But biology, good gracious, that can go into many different fields. So I'm not even going to touch that because you're talking about environmental. You're talking about anatomy and physiology. You're talking about, oh my gosh, all kinds of different stuff. So you just got to be smart, Mr. Pappas. You just got to be smart. So Trig will make you smart. And you need to get that microphone fixed. I'm just kidding. I don't know. It may not be plugged in all the way, but when you mash it, it's not working. So, but you can hear us. So that means that that part's working. So it might be that little button. It might be something wrong with it. All right. So 22 and 52, that'd be a 4, and that'd be a 7. And 30 and 40, that's 70. And 6 and 5. So you go up to your construction manager and you tell him to take the theodolite, which is a transit, and you need to turn 57 degrees, 70 minutes, and 74 seconds. What will he do? Anybody know? He'll look at you like you're from Mars.
It's not right.
It's not right because there is no such thing as 74 seconds. Could be the internet. Okay. It could be the Russians, Mr. Pappas. The Russians could be taken over. 70. There's no such thing as 70 seconds. So what am I going to have to do? Just quit the job and go on to the next job? No. You remember there's 60 seconds in a minute, right? So 60 would bump this up to another minute, right? So I'm going to take that 60 out of here, and I'm going to say 56, 70, and then 60 seconds equals 1 minute, and that will leave 14 seconds. And that 60, that 1 minute does what? Bumps that 70 up to what? 71. Do you know what math teacher showed me how to do this? Not one single math teacher. My father showed me how to do this. So that 1 minute bumps this up to 71 minutes and 14 seconds. Now we got to change this guy. So I'm going to take 60 out of this guy. So 60 minutes equals 1 degree. So that's going to be 56. And then 60 minutes is 1 degree. That'll leave what? 11 minutes and 14 seconds. And what does that 60, what does that 1 degree do to our 56?
Makes it 57.
And our final answer is 57 degrees, 11 minutes, and 14 seconds. Now, a lot of people say, yeah, but when do you actually add angles? A surveyor, an architect, and a civil engineer, they do this all the time. I mean, on a set of plans, they could do this. Okay, turn your volume down or plug your earphones in. On a set of plans on one job, they could add or subtract angles 15 to 300, depending on the job, 300 times. So let's do some subtraction. Let's do, I'm going to be easy because I'm going to give you a hard one after I do this one. 52 degrees, 22 seconds, or 22 minutes and 30 seconds. That's minutes and this is seconds, sorry. Minus 30 degrees, 12 minutes, and 10 seconds. Okay, so do that one. That one's pretty easy. But I'm giving you two subtractions because subtraction can be very easy or it can be very difficult. And that's going to give us 20 seconds. 22 minus, that's 10 minutes. And 52 minus 30 is what, 18? That's your answer. So you could have an easy problem. Wait a minute.
Priority 1 message coming in
That's
on
not
secured
right.
channel.
That's not right. 52, that's 12, isn't it? Or 22.
Isn't it 22?
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
Okay, 22, sorry. So 22 degrees, 10 minutes, 20 seconds. Now let's do one like this. 90 degrees minus 20 degrees, 30 minutes, 20 seconds. Well, how you going to do that? Well, you got to make 90 into minutes and seconds. So you got to change 90 before you even start. 89 degrees, 59 minutes, and 60 seconds. Now you can do it. Now I got one more subtraction to show you after that one. My sister had to go to the emergency room the day before yesterday. That was her daughter telling me that she's better today. Dang, oh, you need to take care of yourself.
You said she's doing better?
It's a urinary tract infection. Them things will mess you up.
Mm-hmm.
They will mess you up. I mean, lethally. They can actually kill you. All right, so this is, she was disoriented. And her daughter, which is the same age as my daughter, she thought she was having a stroke or a heart attack because she was incoherent. And she called the paramedics and said she wasn't having a heart attack or anything. She just has that urinary tract infection, which, you know, with cows, when that happens, the poisons from your own body actually disorient you with cattle. So I guess it works the same way with urinary tract infection. I don't know, but cows, it'll kill a cow in like 3 days. All right, 60 minus 20 is 40. 59 minus 30 is 29. And 89 minus 20 is what? 69.
69.
That's all there is to it.
69.
And here's the last subtraction that might cause a problem with you. 20 or 99, let's go with 89 degrees 42 minutes and 10 seconds minus 20 degrees, 20 minutes, and 25 seconds. Somebody tell me what the problem here is.
The seconds is smaller than what is subtracting.
You can't get blood out of a turnip. You can't take 25 from 10. So we've got to Bari. Okay. Now, from those of you that's not from around here, it's borrow. But we don't say borrow around here. We say Bari. Okay. Mr. Nicholson, you having problems? Yeah, Mr. Nicholson's having problems. Okay, Mr. Nicholson, I understand. I've already taken the roll, so he's still frozen. All right, so here we go. We got a Bari. So I'm going to borrow 1 minute from here and bring it down as 60 seconds. And that's going to turn this 10 seconds into what?
70.
30.
70.
I mean, 70.
Okay. So I took 1 minute and borrowed, so that turns that 42 into 41. And I'll take that 1 minute and I turn it into 60 seconds. And I add it to that 10 seconds. And I'm going to change that to another color because I want you to see that I changed it. So I'm going to use a pink. We changed that 1 to a 7. And now you can do subtraction. 70 minus 25 is what? 45. 41 minus 20 is what? 21.
21.
And 89 minus 20 is 69. That's how you add and subtract angles. Now, I forgot one. Let me give you one more addition, just in case you see it on your homework. 23 degrees, 20 minutes, 40 seconds. Okay, we did it right here. I'm sorry. Forget it. We don't need to do it. We did it right here because it's more than. I forgot. So with subtraction, you have 2 or 3 different ones. You have an easy one. Then you have one that you have to change the angle into degrees, minutes, and seconds. And then you have one right here where you have to borrow. So subtraction, there's 3 different types. With addition, it's either just going to be that angle or you're going to have more than 60 and you just do what I did here. So with addition, it's pretty simple. Mr. Nicholson, you say as much as you can, and if you need to go, I understand. Okay, just turn it down a little bit where I don't hear my country ass talking. All right. I'm much better than I was when I first started. I'm polished and refined now. I'm just kidding. Never lose touch where you come from. Never. All right. That's what snobs do. That's why people don't like snobs. All right. Let's see what else we got. I know none of y'all know any snobs. None of y'all, because they don't exist, do they? Nobody gonna say anything? All right, here we go. Make sure you know the difference between acute, right, obtuse, and straight. That's a standardized test question make sure you know that. I'm not going to test you on the actual definitions, but you need to know them. What I will test you on is complementary and supplementary. I hope I spell it right. That's okay, Mr. Nicholson, if he's gone. It looks like he's gone. Okay? And I would also, and this is just for your own good, I would write down, or you can go to the internet and just type out Greek letters. Greek letters. And get one that you can put like on an index card. Like that one, maybe it'll fit on an index card. And maybe copy that and put it on an index card. Why? Because it's very important, especially for some of you medical people. You're going to be learning a lot of the Greek letters. A lot. So I would make sure that I had an index card. You'd want to find one with, there's one right there. Here's one that I would put on the index card right there. Because it actually shows you the uppercase and the lowercase. And that may help you. There's one. Yeah, there we go. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon. You ever heard anybody say 1 iota? There's iota. That's where it comes from. 1 iota. Of course, some of y'all don't know what the hell I'm talking about. It's your parents' fault. Okay? Eta. I bet y'all didn't know that ETA was eta. I didn't know. Mu. You're going to see that a lot. Omega. You're going to see omega. You're going to see theta in this class. You're going to see theta. Theta, where is theta? Well, theta, where is phi? You're going to see phi. So make sure you get you an index card and find one of these copy and paste and put it on there, and that will help you in the future. You're welcome. All right. I never knew there were lowercase and uppercase. Where you are kidding me. I taught you something today. Uh-oh, it says bad network. Are y'all getting the message? It says bad network.
No.
I just got a message. It says bad network. So we may have to, I'm glad I got the roll because we may have to quit class real quick if it starts freezing up.
Mine's going in and out some.
Are y'all hearing me okay? Okay, well, I'm going to turn off my voice. I'm going to turn off my video because you don't need to see me. And technically, I don't need to see y'all. But now that I've taken roll, just stay on here because I don't like not seeing people. All right. What is, can somebody tell me from their algebra days, what is complementary and supplementary? Anybody?
Complementary equals 90 degrees and supplementary equals 180 degrees.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez. 90 degrees and supplementary is equal to 180 degrees. Now, Ms. Hernandez, you're not supposed to communicate with me. These other students, they're going to get mad at you for communicating with me. So I'm just telling you. All right. And Ms. Croxton too. So y'all just beware. The power of the Tide Pod might come out. All right. So if I give you, if I say two angles are 20 degrees apart, but equal 90 degrees or complementary, then you would say, okay, well, this angle right here is x, and this is x minus 20. And then you would say x plus x minus 20 is equal to 90. 2x minus 20 is equal to 90, and so on. And you'd solve it, and you'd have your x. Same thing with supplementary. One angle is 3 times the other and equal to complementary, or say, and supplementary. And supplementary. So that's 2 angles. And one angle is 3 times this angle. So that would be x plus 3x is equal to 180, and solve. Okay? Yep. Lowercase lambda was from physics. A lot of your Greek letters are going to be in physics because there's so many different formulas that you've got to use different letters. Same thing with probability and statistics. There's so many different formulas that you've got to start picking, picking and choosing from the Greek letters. Okay, so there's two test questions right there. So far in 1.1, we've got several test questions that I can give you. All right. Let's look and see what else, because it's 12:12. I know what time class is over, so you don't have to tell me. Let me go ahead and move on and see what else is left. There's your two. There's complementary and supplementary. Make sure you make a note of your technology notes in your book. Make sure, go to your handy dandy calculator. Right now we need to be in degree mode. So mode, and put it on degree and hit enter. Now this is one thing in trig class that you have to watch out for, because if we're doing radians, you have to put it in radian mode. You're going to get a different answer. If we're in degrees, which the first part we will be, you put it in degree mode. I'm looking to see what next is important. We've got to convert next probably, which I would like to wait. Okay, here is how you can change from degrees, minutes, and seconds. Right here. Let's see, it goes. Okay, they're adding right here. So I've already showed you how to add. How do you type it in a calculator? You need to look that up because some of you don't know where they are. So 81, I'm just going to make up something. 81 degrees. We'll go to, I think it's either math. One of them. Let me see which one it is. There it is. No, that's angle. No, it must be second apps. Let me see, apps. No, second angle. Second apps. There it is. There's your degree symbol, so hit enter. 81 degrees, 30 minutes. So go to second app. And if you want to make a hotkey for, that's up to you. And then 20 seconds. And the seconds is somewhere on your keyboard. Somebody look, if you got your keyboard, it should be above one of your letters, and I can't find, there it is. Shift or alpha plus. and then do plus, oh, I'm sorry, plus 20 degrees, second angle degrees, 21 minutes, second apps minutes, and 30, let's make it 50 seconds so it'll carry over. Alpha plus, and hit enter. Now, as you notice, it has it in decimal degrees, which is worthless in the real world, but in academia, that's what they want. So you can hit second, you take that function, enter, well, and do second answer, and then do second apps, and change into degrees, minutes, and seconds, and enter. There it is. Now, every Trig student should get very familiar with their calculator and how to change degrees, minutes, and seconds into decimal, and decimal into degrees, minutes, and seconds. Okay? Please shut that dog up. I'm sorry. I don't like dogs. All right. And I do not like dogs barking. I am a cat person. So it's not like I go around kicking dogs or anything. I just don't like them. All right. I think we need to quit there. That's enough. Now, I know I've went over just a few things, but where am I right now? I'm on 614 and degrees, minutes, and seconds. So I want you to go home and work on 1.9.1 homework. And I want you to go ahead and start playing with your calculator and make sure you can start doing some of these in your calculator, okay? Start working on the homework and start working on the calculator. You're not supposed to be finished by 9.1 by Thursday, but I would like for you to have some done and have some questions sent to me, okay? And y'all have a wonderful day, and keep between the ditches.
All right, you do the same.
See y'all.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Have a good
I'll
one.
wave at everybody. Bye-bye.